Hi, my name's Don Conrad. I grew up in Muskegon, Michigan. Growing up in Muskegon, my mom and my dad were never married. They kind of had me young. I lived with my grandma, my mom, my uncle. My dad and my mom both lived down the street from each other. So I had somewhat of a relationship with him. My grandma, she, raised us kind of in the church. She attended more than anybody else. Her and my mom, and my uncle, instilled a good foundation, of loving Christ. Just with them talking to me about Jesus and stuff, and actually put a love in my heart for him. It just, I just didn't know why. And that was one way for my mom and grandma and my uncle to make me behave, because they would say, well, Jesus want you doing that? When I was 6, my mom, she passed away. So I went to live with my aunt and her husband and her kids until I was from 6 to 15. And they attended a church in East Muskegon. I would go to church with them, like 3 times a week. I was 12 when I was baptized in that church. I felt at the time like I was saved, but I was never really taught the true meaning of what Christ did for me on the cross. Yeah, they were pretty strict, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, I couldn't go to school dances. They kind of scared Jesus into you by saying, if you don't receive Christ, you're gonna go to hell. Yeah, that's up until I went to live with my dad. And my dad, he wasn't a follower. He said that he believed, but I really don't think he did. And then with my dad, it was a free-for-all. I had no rules, and I had no discipline. I still attended church on my own, but I still went out and did what I wanted to do. Even though I wasn't completely there yet, there was a time where I had a huge anxiety attack, and it kind of shocked me into, hey, you need to start living right. I finally had a realization that, maybe I need to turn my life around. I was trying to get my life on track, and I was trying to live right by God. But, I was still unclear. My cousin Brian was trying to help me find a good church to go to. And he came by Allendale Baptist website. So he's like, hey, this looks like a good church. Why don't you go check this out? And I think you guys were over in the Loving building. Yeah, I attended there 1 week, and I liked it. But then pastor's like, well, you don't want to come next week because we're moving into the new building. So I just, chilled out for a week or two. Then I came back to this building. I just really, really liked it. A lot of friendly people, a lot of caring people. There's a couple times where Pastor Mark chased me out into the parking lot. So that made a huge impression on me. It got that at that point. It kind of made me comfortable to want to meet with him, because I was having some pretty strong doubts, about my faith and about my life. And so I met with him, and he put me through a Bible study. I was supposed to do the Bible study within 8 weeks, one lesson a week. Well, I did about 6 of them, all 1 week. He said he was pretty impressed with that, so I take that as a compliment. I got to the part in the Bible study where as you self-reflect and examine yourself, and it made me feel, kind of like a fake Christian, because even though I accepted Jesus Christ when I was 12, and I was baptized at 12, but I still didn't, I was unsure that I was saved. I wasn't coming to him because I loved him. I was coming to him because, I feared going to hell. And so when I did the Bible study, I was like, man, I got this all wrong. I should be coming to him because I love him and because I want to honor him. And I was like, well, I think I need to recommit my life, to him. So that's what I did. I was by myself when I did, but I confessed to Pastor Mark. He's like, I think you just got saved. I was like, yeah, I think you might be right. He's like, well, all we need to do now is get you baptized. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so that's how I officially, came to Christ. It made me more hungry. I want to serve and, honor God. And the way to do that, is with a good community. And who don't want to be, loved by a good church. That's how I view membership here. It's a chance to, serve God and be around the people that, are going to help support you. Pastor Mark is probably the biggest reason why I stayed here. I want to stay here and become a member. I almost, view him like a mentor. He's a big influence, somebody who's, preaches out of the Bible and that's into apologetics. And not too many pastors out there that are like that. Paul was probably one of the biggest, kind of helps solidify my faith. And the thief on the cross was another big one too. Kind of helps me realize we're saved, by grace and not by works, because, he wasn't baptized, it was completely by faith. Sometimes I have a hard time remembering stuff, and, I've been praying, that God will write his word on your heart. Well, I want to retain that as an example for my kids and other people. Not that I'm looking for credit, I just want to, just like God, want to be believed and want somebody else to be able to make it to heaven. To me, how does Jesus change everything? I think he changes everything because of his love for us.